I won't let go. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a foundation review, and let me tell you, this is literally my holy grail foundation and also my worst foundation. Not worst, but like, you know, she has her good days and she has her bad days. Like, she has her good qualities, she has her bad qualities, you know, that whole thing. The foundation I'm going to be talking about is the Becca Ultimate Full Coverage Foundation. Now, I have two shades, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But, yeah, so if you want to know my opinions on this foundation, just keep on watching. So, I have two shades because I bought the shade the first time, and on the website, it looked a lot different than it did on the website than in person. So it doesn't really match me that well. Like, I can get away with it, but it's not really my shade. I could get away with it though with contour. So I also bought this shade, and now this shade is kind of my shade. It is exactly my shade, but it's a little bit cooler than my actual skin tone. So I ran into a dilemma. This is my shade, but too cool. But this is not my shade, but it's warm enough for my skin, which is why it works, sort of. So the thing is, this is a really pricey, for me personally, this is a really pricey foundation. It's $44. But I bought two. I didn't buy them at the same time. I bought this a while ago, and I really liked the foundation, but I really wanted it to match my skin, so I wouldn't have to, you know, do all the extra stuff with it. So I bought two, but now this one, it just needs to be a little bit warmer for me, and it would be literally the perfect foundation. Now, another thing with this foundation is that it's not a matte finish, it's more of a skin-like finish, which is what I like. I really like that. At first, I didn't think I would like it because I'm a very oily person, and when it comes to my oils, I want to not have that anymore. Like, and a matte foundation really works for me. Usually, I used to use the Maybelline Super Matte 24-hour. You know, I got a little bit of money and I wanted to splurge on myself, so I bought this one. But I really like the foundation. It does last a long time if you know how to use it. Now, if you're oily like me, I like to use the MAC Paint Pot. I use the shade Soft Orchid. This is not my shade. But my makeup breaks up around my nose right here. So what I do is I put this just a little bit around my nose and I rub it in, and it makes it stay a lot longer than it would with just primer. So that's a little tip. And this foundation does break up along my laugh lines. You know, I'm a very expressive person, so I like to laugh, I like to talk, so I get creasage right here around my laugh lines. Now, a way I sort of found a way to combat that is the MAC Paint Pot. It doesn't work that as good as like my nose situation, but it's really easy to fix. I carry a beauty blender with me everywhere I go if I'm wearing makeup, and I just beat the creases out of my face. Those are the negatives of the foundation. If you are really oily, purchasing this would be really good and fresh for you. So I do recommend buying this for not only the eyes but also the mouth and laugh lines. So if you do have those problems, that's just a heads up before buying this foundation. Other than that, the finish is so skin-like, which I love because, you know, being oily all the time, you don't want to have, like, just a dry, matte foundation all the time, and it can get really dry and just, like, really not flattering, especially at the end of the day. If you crease right here, it gets really crinkly. Like, I know the struggle. I've been through the struggle a lot. Like, it makes my makeup look like skin, which is what I really, really like about it, which is why I splurged the extra, you know, $30 than buying the regular drugstore makeup. So I do recommend this foundation if you can afford it, which it is pretty pricey. So if you can, then I'd say buy it. But just a heads up, if you do get laugh lines and if you do have an oily nose and for whatever reason your makeup breaks up around here, I don't recommend this by itself, but I do recommend using this and this together, and that situation will be really good and fresh. But if you don't have this, another thing you could do is use a concealer around your nose, and don't put a primer around here, just to put a full coverage concealer. That'll make it last. It doesn't really work as good as the MAC Paint Pot, but it does work. So just a little other tip for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying the foundation onto my face, which is fun. So what I'm going to do is I tried this yesterday and it worked really good. It matched my skin really perfectly. I'm going to mix the shade Walnut. I didn't even say the shade. I'm going to mix the shade Walnut and Sienna, and it'll make my skin more balanced in the way I want it to be. So I'm going to put a little bit of Walnut onto my hand. And I'm going to put a full pump of Sienna on my hand, and I'm going to mix them together with a Q-tip, and I'm going to place that on my face. And by the way, the consistency is really, really thick, and I like that because now when I use my Maybelline Fit Me, it's like really watery, and now when I use it, it's just like weird. So now I'm going to just place a little bit around my face, and I don't have another mirror. Right? Yes, I do. So I'm going to place this around my face, and a lot goes, oh my god, I'm not even wearing primer, but this is a foundation review, so I'm just going to do one side. So a lot goes a long way with this foundation. It is very full coverage. I personally like using like one pump here, one pump here, one pump here, and then all the other stuff, like I use it around my neck so it all matches cohesively. I just remember. So I'm going to go in with my Juno Co. Sponge. I really like this. If you do like full coverage like me, this is a really good sponge. A lot of people had mixed reviews on it. At first, when I first got it, I was like, oh my god, this is really amazing. Like, it really makes me look full coverage. Even with a drugstore foundation like the Maybelline Fit Me. But with these two paired together, it's like a match made in heaven, which is something I can't relate to. But anyway, so as you can see, really matches my skin. It's just a little bit of a difference because I added the walnut, but it gets the job done. Like, actually, on camera, it looks a little bit different. Like, this side looks a little bit different than this side. But in person, it's like I didn't even put on foundation. Well, it looks like I put on foundation, but like my skin but better. So yeah, so the finish is really nice and skin-like. It's not matte at all. It makes my skin feel alive, which is really good because it is wintertime here in San Diego. And in San Diego, we don't really get a winter, so it's either really hot one day and then like raining the other, or just really cold. Like today, it's a little bit of both. I don't know, global warming. But so yeah, so I just do this, and then it really works well with all my other products I use. I use the Black Radiance loose setting powder. This is a really good powder. If you're oily, I like it, and if you are darker skin tone, because another thing I used to do is use baby powder, which is really good, but it would make if I put a little bit too much, it would make my face look really it would give me a white cast. I think that's what it's called. But with this, since it has a yellow tint, you can't really see the yellow tint because my lights. Yeah, so I really like this foundation. The laugh lines, it creases. So another tip is to not put as much product right here along your laugh lines. Because if you do that, it'll start creasing. If you, like, I don't know what this is, but if you smile a lot and like to talk, you're going to crease. But all you do is just go on with a beauty blender. I'm going to use this white one. It's really dirty. I only use it once, I swear. I don't know why I got a white beauty blender if it's just gonna get really dirty and gross after one use. But anyway, so what I would do is if I'm getting creases, I would just go like this. That was a weird noise, and the creases will be gone. The only thing is, if you don't mind doing that, then you're good. But if you do mind, like every hour or two, beating the crease back into your skin and making it look more cohesive, that's the downside with this foundation. But other than that, I really like this foundation. Now, again, I said this earlier, but if you do have the money to just spend $44 on a foundation, make sure to go into the store and try it out first, because online the pictures are kind of wonky. This one was a lot darker, and I thought it was my shade, but it didn't end up coming out my shade. So I do recommend purchasing this online. In stores. And yeah, if you also have dry skin, this would be really good because it's a skin finish. So dry skin, oily skin is good for both. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you did enjoy this video and want me to do more makeup reviews, more tips and tricks on your foundation and like if for oily people, because there's not much that really works, because I try other videos and it doesn't work, so I just put my own spin on it. But if you want more tips and tricks and more reviews on my channel, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with the whole across the street. That's all wants foundation tips too. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And just as a reminder, all the products will be listed somewhere around this video, so if you were wondering, it's there. So you can pick this up if you would like. And yeah, so that's it. Bye. Leave.
Back to the lesson at hand, stick to my plans when it comes to seeing man after man. Don't give a damn. Cars or it's brand. What? Cause I'ma make my own ends. And that's what's up.